We're actually in the middle of a 2,000-acre man-made wetland called the East Fork Water Reuse Project. It was formed as a partnership between the North Texas Municipal Water District and the Rosewood Corporation back in 2004. So when the East Fork Water Reuse Project was conceived, they were looking for a very specific piece of land. The North Texas Municipal Water District needed this wetland, this man-made wetland, to be south of all the major developed cities north of Dallas. So Lavon Lake serves about 1.7 million people from Plano, Frisco, Allen, and McKinney. Some of the fastest growing cities in the entire US and the state of Texas rely on water from Lavon Lake. So that population is growing so quickly, instead of building a new reservoir, which takes billions of dollars and decades to complete, they came up with this concept by listening to Tarrant Regional Water District and another environmental scientist with Allen Plummer Associates to build the East Fork Water Reuse Project. And in a nutshell, this water project captures already treated wastewater flowing downstream from Plano, Allen, McKinney, Mesquite, 13 member cities of the North Texas Municipal Water District, and we recapture that water here. The water, when it leaves the wastewater treatment facilities, is fine. It's perfect for the environment, but it still has high levels of nitrate, phosphate, and ammonia. If that water was taken and put directly back into the reservoir, it would cause an ecological upset of the reservoir itself. So by capturing the water in a man-made wetland, we let nature do what nature does best. The plants that we see all around us are doing something called phyto remediation, literally meaning plants restoring balance to the water. So the plants around us pull up that nitrate, phosphate, and ammonia, either store it in the tissues and stems, volatilize it, release it back into the atmosphere, or store it in the soil itself. And then roughly 7 to 10 days later, as the water flows from the north part of our property all the way to the southern part, it takes about 7 to 10 days, and after that point, the water is pumped underground through a 43-mile pipeline, 7 feet in diameter, back to Lavon Lake. And right now, this water supply is supplementing 15 to 20% of the total water used by all those growing communities. Conservation literacy is the succinct part of our mission, to teach students and teachers the importance of being literate for conservation issues they might not otherwise think about. And I'm not just talking water, I'm talking wildlife, energy, and habitat as well. This wetland was built for water supply, but it also encourages students and teachers and adults to conserve in ways that they would not otherwise think. When people stand in the middle of this wetland, they say, wow, I had no idea this was my water supply. And I'm gonna go back home and treat that water supply even better. I'm gonna take shorter showers or brush my teeth less. But it goes beyond just those two obvious ones. It's about studying about conservation. It's about possibly focusing on a STEM career with science, technology, engineering, or math, or seeking a career out of college that can help what I call create the next best solution. Don't get me wrong, it's fantastic what this wetland does. But in 10 years from now, 20 years from now, as you're talking, the next best solution could be technology, or it could be another way of nature helping man. So this concept they thought could work. Now we know it does work. The next step is to encourage other municipalities, districts, states, and countries to use this same method to clean and purify water. When the North Texas Municipal Water District was looking for a partner to build this one-of-a-kind wetland, they needed one piece of contiguous land that was along the East Fork of the Trinity River, but south of all the wastewater treatment facilities. Just so happens one of my board members doesn't live too far from here and travels to the city of Wiley every morning and past this 5,000-acre ranch that was owned entirely by the Rosewood Corporation or the Hunt Sands family. John Bunker Sands was the second oldest child of Caroline Rose Hunt, and he was a manager of this property for cattle. So where we're standing, about 10 years ago, there would have been about 1,000 head of cattle. So as the cattle migrated across the property, Bunker thought, wouldn't it be a great idea to actually reestablish wetlands on the property? And this was the early 1990s. Just so happens Bunker worked with the same environmental scientist that actually manages our wetland today. That's exactly how they heard about the piece of property. Loretta helps us to manage the property, but Bunker's vision about reestablishing wetlands along the Trinity River and cattle production was very popular. When Bunker passed away, unfortunately, in 2003 from pancreatic cancer, His legacy of conservation of wetlands was left behind, and when the district was looking for that partner, it seemed like that perfect fit. So not only did the district and the family agree to this 50-year partnership to the year 2067, but they also agreed to support and sustain the John Bunker Sands Wetland Center, named in his honor. I believe that public-private partnerships are the true catalyst of environmental protection. When we talk about climate change and water usage and water shortage, public-private partnerships that really shine in the state of Texas can be perfect examples. Now, granted, definitely, there was a lot of property here in one piece, but the water district saw the importance, and the family saw the importance. So public-private partnerships that we could mimic and mirror, just like the East Fork Wetland, is, I think, the vision of the future for all resources of energy, water, and conservation.